Flashgitz.
Here's the plan. Today we're finalizing the new combo breaker art style, but having to take the results of that poll in stride this week has had me thinking about criticism and anger. And I want to talk about it. We're not doing this every episode, but this time it's important. It's been really fucking important to me. It's important to our creative process that you've been watching all along and hopefully can be useful to you too. And in light of that vote last week, I think it's pretty goddamn pertinent too. Also, Tom is away for most of the day at some picnic thing or something. So what else am I supposed to talk about while I'm working? Anyway, fixing up the combo breaker art style and anger. Now, before you jump to any crazy conclusions, here's the thing. I think that anger is basically universally unproductive when it comes to disagreements. And a big area of disagreement people tend to get pretty mad about when they shouldn't is when they're taking criticism. Like when 67% of your critics hate your shit. But even if you believe that anger is unproductive, whenever you pour yourself into something and build it up and you're really pleased with it, and then you present it and it just gets fucking torn down, I think no matter who you are, you're still gonna have that little half second of just the rage before you tamp it down. And maybe you think sometimes you even deserve to feel that rage. It may well be that your critics are wrong, that they are stupid, that they don't know shit, that they're not seeing your vision. And you've just got to persevere and prove them wrong. But it's also possible they're hitting you with something useful. Something you didn't see before that you'd agree with if you could only look at things with a clear head. And that anger is always going to make it a lot harder to know which kind of criticism you're dealing with. It also makes you look like a big asshole. But now that I've stated the obvious, let me get to the point I'm trying to make, because for me, this next bit has always been less obvious. The reality is, you do not have to get angry about anything. I don't mean pretend to not be angry. I mean, you don't need to be literally angry. You can always have a cool head. I don't know, maybe that part was also obvious too. But the unusual part of what I'm trying to share here, I think, is that there's actually a scientific method to stop being mad when you take criticism, and just in general. Think about what it is to get angry. Like what it physically feels like. Personally, I feel this sort of quick rush that starts in the back of my head and it sort of washes up right behind my eyeballs. I don't know if it's like a flood of hormones or blood, or I'm not very smart and I'm not a scientist, but the point is, it has a specific physical feeling in your head that you can actually feel and focus on. And then maybe you can even imagine it taking shape. This sort of glowing cloud of wrath filling up my skull. And if I indulge it and lash out, it's like it explodes. And I know when I do that, it's gonna feel kind of good. So there's like a temptation there. Sports and MMA and working out and all that shit are supposed to be good for pent-up aggression. And I think this is why. That cloud of anger just demands to be fucking converted into this primal fuck you, dash somebody's brains out with a rock, just monkey energy. Just this. But what if instead you tried really focusing on that physical feeling of anger, that cloud behind your eyeballs? You might find that it actually makes your anger go away. Seriously. You just focus on what it actually physically, like in your skull, feels like as it's happening. And fucking poof, the anger disappears. It sounds dumb, I know. I guess that's kind of the trend when I go off about stuff like this. But this is a thing. It's called mindfulness. Look it up. This is well documented scientific shit. It's basically the same method that lets that crazy Dutch motherfucker go frog stroking through like frozen lakes. You remember those commercials? Or those monks that would set themselves on fire in protest. I could also be explaining it wrong, so, you know, look it up, decide for yourself. But anyway, long-winded point. If I know how to stop being angry, then whenever something starts to make me mad, I can look at the criticism I'm receiving, or the hell I'm catching from my boss, or my girlfriend, or Tom, or 67%, and instead of repelling it with a clear head, I might realize maybe Stan isn't perfect. Maybe he does look like a balloon animal with 2 sausages hanging off of it. So, look at this. What I've been drawing while I've been running my mouth. Yeah, there was this real lack of rigidness in his arms that I just wasn't seeing before, or wasn't seeing the importance to, and it's definitely more pronounced when you compare him to the original. So the arms need to be molded just a little more, but still kept as simple as possible. And then you start to feel a bone structure that's supporting the meat of his arms. It feels a little more explosive, where before there was just this weird gravity issue that I wasn't seeing. All right, $20 says Tom still hates this, but what the f does he know? Oh.
Hello, Donald.
The new style. And there it is.
Hate it. Can I see a side by side with the old one?
No.
Why not?
I want your thoughts before we do a comparison. Standing on its own.
Standing up. Why can't I see the other one?
I just want to know how this one looks. If this is the only one you're presented with. Because this is the only one a new audience is ever going to see if we go with this. So.
Yeah, I think it's better.
Are you happy with it though? Or do you think he still looks too puffy?
Yeah, I think it looks good.
Yeah?
Yep.
I came around to agreeing with you after not looking at it for a few days.
Once the crowd has gone, once it's safe to be a maverick, fuck you, Johnny Utah, fuck you, Aaron Densky Bowden, me and the silent majority.
That's what this episode's all about. It's about criticism.
Yay, go team! Sure!
We have to go to the P.O. box.
I do like presents though.
My liege.
Goodies. Safety first.
Let's hurry up.
Alright. Wait, what we got?
It's hot, Tom.
Alright, Tom and Don. Oh, dude, check that shit out. Is that a fucking Gundam? Are these in the way?
Might be.
Might be.
They're like... might be in the way.
Who has dice in their car?
I have dice in my car.
Try that again.
I think it is a Gundam, Tom. I'm gonna ruin it.
Oh, man.
You know what? Maybe I don't have to. Maybe I can just...
I mean, what do we do with the seal? Just keep it forever?
I'll save all of them now.
All the, like,
Yeah.
letter casings, though?
No, I'll save this one.
Oh. Dear Tom and Don, been a long time fan of your stuff and I'm super stoked that Tom made it to America safe and sound. Thank you. Also huge fan of Warhammer and have played for 15 years. My friend Scott has actually set up his own convention, Shorehammer, in Ocean City. Oh, that's fucking sick, dude. I've gotten tickets for you both to come and see the convention.
Oh, no way.
Me, mate, I'm sweating like a pig in Ocean City. Warhammer! Dope. Alright, yeah, sick. Alex,
thanks,
we will let you know.
And there's your free sneaky shill.
What else we got? Current business. Nope. This looks interesting. It's from fucking Australia.
No! I want to see it.
It says Australia right there.
So it does.
Ah! Oh, no way.
Oh, no.
Found this mad cunt in the old treasure chest. Mate, that is too much. That is 2 jokes. That is Scratch. Mate, that's too much. That's so good.
He might actually be to scale with the homeless one, too. The homeless one's so much taller.
Oh, right, yeah. Only a privileged few get to witness me from this angle. And now you guys do too. I just wanted to say a big thanks. It's always actually genuinely very cool for us when the shit that we made up in our heads inspires you guys to make something up in the real world. I don't know, it's kind of like playing God. It plays to our narcissism. Yeah, thanks a lot, guys. We really do appreciate it. And whether you make stuff or write us letters, it all means something to us. So keep it coming, because I have much more narcissism to satisfy, and don't even get me started on young Donald. He's a truth.
That's all for us this week, boys. Stop rage quitting and buy a Flashgitz hoodie. 20% off store-wide spring sale until the 25th, I think. And yeah, we'll see you next week.
I'm done.